This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by our friends over at Curaleaf, one of the leading vertically integrated cannabis operators in the U.S., with a total of 34 dispensaries, 12 cultivation sites, and 9 processing facilities. Curaleaf has had a pretty interesting year, to put it mildly, starting with just 3 dispensaries back in January and growing to their current total of 34. That's impressive growth by any measure, but is especially so considering that the company has also been hard at work developing one of the best consumer brands in legal cannabis, with their Curaleaf line of medical marijuana products being thoughtfully designed to meet the needs of their more than 100,000 patient customers. Curaleaf also knows how important of a medicine hemp-derived CBD is, so they're super proud of all their Curaleaf hemp products. You can open up curaleaf.com to learn more about this very cool company and all the things it makes. That's curaleaf.com, spelled C-U-R-A-L-E-A-F. Curaleaf.com, where you can also find the closest Curaleaf dispensary to you, because there's no better way to experience the Curaleaf difference than by going in for a visit. Live life well with Curaleaf. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Friday, December 14th, 2018, and you're tuned in to episode 629 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shea Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Massachusetts grabs today's top story, as it's done quite a bit lately. This time it's because the state's Cannabis Control Commission gave the nod to 4 new adult use dispensaries to open up. Right now, there are just 2 adult use shops operational in the Bay State, with another set to open up this weekend. The Cannabis Control Commission met yesterday and added 4 new shops to the list, now totaling 9 license holders in all. The 4 new dispensaries still need to get a final commence operations certificate and likely won't be open this month, but they should be up and running not too long into the new year. As we've been tracking, business has been very good in the state for the 2 dispensaries that open up right before Thanksgiving. Pop over to Mass Live to give this one a read. Keeping our feet planted in Massachusetts for a headline, we have a good story from the Boston Globe concerning the so-called community host agreements that are one of the hallmark features of that state's legal cannabis program. Those agreements are contracts signed by prospective legal cannabis businesses and the local communities in which they wish to locate that lay out the terms by which the arrangement would be acceptable. Under state law, companies can be asked to pay no more than 3% of their revenue to the town as a fee, but as we've reported on a number of times here, that hasn't stopped a lot of towns from demanding and getting more. Today's second top headline is the story of Fall River, Massachusetts, and their retreat from wanting 4% of revenue. Dan Adams' piece on this one is good and worthy of a click over. In short, though, Fall River said yesterday that it was rewriting all of its community host agreements so that they don't continue to break the law by demanding 4%, instead asking for the mandated maximum of 3%. If you need to know about Massachusetts, click over and jump into this one. We round out this week's top stories up in Canada, where yesterday Toronto's City Council voted 20-4 in favor of a plan to allow privately owned marijuana dispensaries to open up. The province of Ontario, within which Toronto is located, currently does not have any brick-and-mortar adult use dispensaries open, with mail delivery being the only legal option for shoppers. So the move to allow dispensaries to open up in the province's largest city is a notable one. The Canadian Press is reporting that following the vote by the Toronto City Council, Ontario provincial authorities announced a plan to phase in privately owned dispensaries. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out in headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, Curaleaf, one of the leading vertically integrated cannabis operators in the United States, with a total of 34 dispensaries, 12 cultivation sites, and 9 processing facilities. Curaleaf wants you to live life well, which is why they pay so much attention to getting both the retail experience right in all of their medical marijuana dispensaries, as well as the products they sell there. Because Curaleaf operates in so many states requiring vertical integration, it's had the space to get really good at the entire legal medical marijuana supply chain, from cultivation and processing through packaging and dispensing. Curaleaf had just 3 dispensaries open at the beginning of the year and hopes to see its current roster of 34 grow even larger by this time next year. So the chances are getting ever better that there is a Curaleaf dispensary near you. Pop over to curaleaf.com to learn more about the Curaleaf difference and to find the closest Curaleaf shop to you. That's curaleaf.com, spelled Curaleaf. Thanks to everyone over at Curaleaf for helping support today's news. All right, time for the Blitz. Ohio State is getting ever closer to being able to open up its new legal medical marijuana program. Yesterday, state regulators announced that 2 medical cannabis testing companies would be inspected next week. I reported yesterday that Ohio's given the nod to its first dispensary to open up, but that before registered patients could buy their first product, the full production pipeline needs to be fully licensed. If the 2 testing labs up for inspection next week pass, there would be one less major hurdle left for Ohio legal medical marijuana. Illinois State Senator Heather Steens of Chicago is set to introduce a bill that would legalize adult use marijuana in her state and said that she's considering adding a provision to open up a route for people in prison for marijuana crimes to be released, assuming that their only charge is low-level possession. According to the numbers from the Illinois Department of Corrections, the narrow scope of State Senator Steens' proposal would mean just 32 out of 41,000 state inmates would qualify, but I think it's positive that the conversation is being held at all. This is an issue that we all need to have a solid handle on. Kyle Yeager over Marijuana Moments picked up on some news that Canadian licensed marijuana company Tilray just announced a new international advisory board, with its 2 most notable founding members being Howard Dean, former chair of the Democratic National Committee, and Michael Steele, former chair of the Republican National Committee. Neither of these guys have been particularly active in marijuana activism circles, but I guess the coast is clear enough now for them to both make some money. So welcome to the party. Kyle's story has more background on this. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com and on our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily. The Canadian province of Nova Scotia says that it is only getting no more than 40% of the cannabis supply it needs to serve its new open adult use marijuana industry. Yesterday, Nova Scotia's finance minister said that she would be writing to Health Canada to protest the shortfall of supply, which she said could soon affect the ability of the province's 12 wholly owned dispensaries to keep their shelves stocked. Yesterday, the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board released some new guidelines for how legal marijuana edibles are to be packaged and labeled, all designed to reduce the appeal of the products to kids. Regular listeners should remember that Washington State briefly issued rules saying that edibles would be banned from the legal industry, but quickly backed down amid a fierce outcry from edibles manufacturers, retailers, and consumers. Pop over to Marijuana Business Daily for a link to the new guidelines themselves. We end the day with 2 headlines from up here in my corner of the country here in Maine. Leading off our Pine Street twofer is a story about the new medical cannabis laws that are now in effect. A reform bill was passed back in the spring that removed entirely the idea of qualifying conditions, instead leaving it up to doctors to recommend medical cannabis for anything they see fit, as it should be. The state's caregiver and dispensary system also saw some big changes, including a new rule allowing inspectors to more easily inspect cultivation operations. And finally for today, another story from up here in Maine. The Portland Press-Herald takes a nice look at a cool new business that's actually just a couple of miles down the road from me here at MJ Today Media HQ. The Gas and Grass gas station and convenience store opened up yesterday and has all the regular unhealthy snacks and treats one would find in any convenience store, as well as medical marijuana flower and concentrates, available to anyone with a patient card. It also, for the record, has some of the cheapest gas in the city. This is a great example of how flexible cannabis retail is. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you Monday morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at MJTodayDaily and visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, Curaleaf, and to all of our awesome patron listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the patron listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in, starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.